we're just interrupting you briefly to have a chat about the Enjoy an Album Patreon. We launched this recently. It's $5 a month, and for that, you get 2 extra episodes per month. You also get, and you'll enjoy this, I'm sure, an ad-free experience. You can listen to the episodes without this advert that you're hearing right now, which is probably annoying.
Never want to hear this again? Easily done.
Yep, and no more Manscaped or other sponsorship adverts. You just get the episode. You also get normal episodes 24 hours before everybody else. If you can't wait for that, Enjoy an Album top-level banter. And also, we've got lots of other exciting things planned for the Patreon, some long deep dives and other things. If you use Apple Music or Apple Podcasts or Pocket Casts, you can get a special RSS feed. So all of the podcasts, the Patreon and non-Patreon, go to a new place. Unfortunately, Spotify don't do that because they are dicks. But yeah, sign up to the Patreon. Also, more than anything else, is the best way to support the podcast. There's like 100 episodes now that are free. If you like us doing it, if you like listening to it, the best way to make sure that it continues for as long as you want to listen to it is to sign up. It's a $5 a month, or there will be a tier for $10 a month if you are Ultrasound. I think we'll call them the Ultra Enjoy an Album Ultras.
I think that's unclear. Become an Enjoy an Album Ultra for £5 a month, and you can be a Slim Cock Bumblebee Balls for $10 a month.
Yes.
Easy done. The first 2 Patreon exclusive episodes are Robbie Williams' Sing When You're Winning and Iron Maiden, The Number of the Beast.
Yes, they're both up, ready, waiting for you to listen. They'll stay there forever. So if you're listening to this in 6 months' time, then there's an extra 6 months worth of episodes. But those are the ones that are already up there as well. So yeah, sign up to the Patreon, enjoy the pod, keep listening to albums, and peace and love in the new millennium.
That's mine.
Yeah, I know, but I thought I'd try saying
man.
it. Okay, right. Hey.
Peace and love. No, you do it. You
Okay.
do it.
Patreon and love in the new millennium. So I've made a decision, an executive decision, to open a more of a cold open style podcasting, which,
Mark McMahon style.
Well, I mean, lots of podcasters. That's the classic podcast intro style, isn't it? People start with a little bit of fun chat and then they go, hello, welcome to the podcast. So that's what we're going to do from now on.
Can you give me some examples of people who've done that?
Well, that's what happens when I listen to my 2 favourite podcasts, Leftist Freaks, Chapeau Trap House, and True and On. Do that. But, you just mentioned Marin as well. People just open up. They just open into it.
There's no need to be like, hey there, that scares you as well.
Yeah.
If you're listening to it when you're doing the dishes in the middle of the night.
Well, I'm editing these as well, and I'm acutely aware that every episode starts with me saying hello, like that. So, hello there,
lady.
So we're going to mix it up a bit. We'll tell you now, though, this is Enjoy an Album. We're in with Christopher MacArthur Boyd. Got a new fun feature for the intro. We're going to be taking questions from the patrons.
That's right. Question number 1.
So if you're on the Patreon, you'll know we've posted a thread asking for questions about anything. So this one is from Jamie Reed. He says, if you could only listen to one album for the rest of your life, of all the albums covered so far, which one and why? Also, who's got the biggest schlong?
Right, I was confused by that because then the second question was like, another question, and then they were like, and also interested with this long. Are they talking about me and you? Or are they talking about from the list?
I presume they mean from the list. They wouldn't be asking us about our penise.
Why do you think they wouldn't?
No one.
They've paid their money.
No one wants to know. Well, yeah, then they know because patrons get exclusive dick pics once a week. So they don't need to ask.
If you are not a fan of that type of stuff, don't worry, you won't get sent them when you join up. I don't do that.
I've been taking pictures of your penis whilst you sleep and sending it to the patrons. So that is true.
Stop doing that. If you had to listen to one album that we've covered so far from the list for the rest of your life,
okay,
what would it be?
Here's my thing.
Yes.
This is going to go down like a cup of warm steak, okay? But there's reasons for this, for my choice. And you're going to hate it. It's going to make you mad.
Try me.
Phil Spector's Back to Mono, okay?
What are you talking about?
Okay. And
long?
I will tell you for why. It's one album forever. And that album is really long. It's like 4 different albums. Isn't it? It's 4 albums with different themes, different artists.
You didn't like any of it, though?
That's not true.
Oh, I did like
we just hate him, don't we? It's a big compilation. There's even some Christmas music, so it gives you the greatest amount of variety for the rest of your life. If you just decide to listen to Boys to Men for the rest of your life, that's all. You've got one mood, one thing forever.
Yeah.
Also, here's the thing about this question. When it says you're only allowed to listen to one album for the rest of your life, do they mean that you're only allowed to sit and put on, like, whenever you want to put on music, you can only listen to one album? Or is it all music is now that music from that album?
Well, that's my issue with these type of hypothetical questions, is that there's too many outlying factors where you're like, oh, so I'm only allowed to listen to one thing for the rest of my life. I'm in a room for the rest of my natural born existence with just this record, and just like Old Boy.
Yeah. Great movie.
Great film. Not a nice way to live your life.
No, and also, like, you know, if not, when you're watching, say, a Quentin Tarantino movie with like a interesting soundtrack, is that soundtrack been replaced with whatever album you've chosen?
When you put on Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction and it's like Jungle Boogie, Going Into Mr. Lou by Dick Dale, is that just going to be
Be My Baby by the Ronettes?
Scorsese watching it like, this is actually quite good.
That might work better. You know, when you go to Sainsbury's and there's music on in the background, is it going to be...
My choice is going to be Employment by the Kaiser Chiefs. I've already answered this question, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
If I could listen to one album for the rest of my life, it would be
Christopher. Every day I love you less and less. And you're gonna understand why I've said that. Oh my
God.
When you watch this podcast, and
I predict a riot, if you know.
And you see some of the horrible things that Christopher says about me and my art.
I'm tired.
Yeah, some of the mean things. Thank you for listening forever. And we hope you enjoy the episode about Shania Twain and other things. And we'll catch you at the end. Bye. This episode of Enjoy an Album is brought to you by our friends at Manscaped, the #1 products for below the belt grooming. Fellas, if you need a little spruce up in your downstairs department, you can do no better than getting some Manscaped products in your life. They sent us the kits out. We've showed them here before. We've used them. If you have ever had a little go at having a little tidy up downstairs with your razor maybe, or your beard trimmer, you've more than likely had a little nip. You've maybe caught yourself.
Your Johnson looks like fucking Freddy Voorhees' face. Is that the guy's name?
Who's that?
Freddy Voorhees.
Who is that?
Jason Voorhees. Your face looks like Freddy Voorhees is when Freddy and Jason had a baby.
Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Shit.
Anyway,
your dick looks like Freddy Krueger's dick.
If you don't want your penis to look like a horror character's penis, unnamed, then you got to use the right equipment, and the right equipment is your Manscaped lawnmower. Okay, so you're getting down with another person, and they take off your pants. What do you want them to see? Do you want them to see a big bloody hairy mess? Or do you want them to see a nice, smooth, sculpted, hey, this person takes care of themselves and is hygienic? The lawnmower plugs in, same charger as my phone. Very handy.
Yeah, you're on the train, charge it up.
Use that little thing on the train. Go to
See
the
when
train
it has
bathroom?
that sign that says only for phones and laptops. It's expressly so you don't charge your dick groomer.
Yep. Also, Manscaped, they have the nose hair trimmers.
That's actually class, man. Obviously, the dick shaving stuff's good as well, but man, my nose was a state and my ears were a state. And now they look dynamite.
Yes, they sure do. I've been thinking about your nose recently, and I think it looks much better. Also, they do the most comfortable boxers. I don't think I told you this, but after speaking about how comfortable the boxers were, my partner used the album code to buy some of the boxes for me for Christmas. So now I have like 5 different pairs of them. It's all I wear is the Manscaped boxes.
Of that.
Yeah, very, very comfortable.
They are very comfy, actually.
Mm-hmm.
They are very comfy.
And it all comes in a nice sort of wash bag, nice leather wash bag.
My old wash bag, man, you know. I had this wash bag for ages.
My old wash bag.
My old wash bag down in the docks. Played bass for Iron Maiden in 1978.
So if you want to support the podcast, one of the ways you can do it is get yourself some grooming gear. You get something out of it. Use the code ALBUM20. You get 20% off. That then supports us, helps us with the sponsor. Everyone is happy. Least of all, your 2 lovely nuts. I believe you can use the product.
And listen, I know we have a lot of ladies who listen. Mm-hmm. And you're thinking, you know, I don't feel like you're advertising to me. buy this for a guy.
Buy it for your partner.
Do you have any men in your life?
The thing. Sometimes men feel
You don't want to
embarrassed.
say, do you have any men in your life? But if you have a dad or a cousin that you're close with, or, a brother, partner, husband, boyfriend.
Any different relationship that you can think of.
Maybe you're close friends with a man who's on your swimming team and you think he could be more aerodynamic or smoother for the swim.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe you're
another
planning
example.
the Tour de France and you're worried that the pubic hair is going to slow down your cycling team. You thought about that?
No longer.
Album 20. Thanks so much.
You're listening to Enjoy an Album, the podcast where two comedians listen to some of the greatest albums of all time.
Shania Twain's third album was basically a country thriller. Still the biggest selling album ever by a female artist. Twain and her husband, AC/DC and Def Leppard producer John Mutt Lange, had radio in a hammerlock during the late 90s with hits like You're Still the One and Man, I Feel Like a Woman. And Twain's mix of genre-defying effervescence and Feel Like a Woman assertion helped pave the way for superstar rule breakers like the Dixie Chicks, Miranda Lambert, and Taylor Swift, who said seeing Shania perform inspired her to want to get on stage herself. We're back on that list tip.
Back on that list.
Rolling Stone's 300th best album of all time. Shania Twain's Come On Over.
Can you think of albums from the list where you're like, how's this better than that?
Well, yeah, from the first 80 or so that we covered, there's loads that you go, what is this doing here? And why is this not there?
It is. I mean, that is compared to Taylor Swift there. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, we'll sort of get into that, but it's the country music to pop behemoth pipeline, also charted by Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus.
I don't.
That was more Disney Channel to.
Yeah, but her dad is a country.
Oh yeah, Billy Ray.
I don't. The Miranda Lambert one, I don't see so much because Miranda sort of stayed in her lane with country, hasn't she?
I think if you live in Nashville, you'd probably see her as a pop star, but I don't live in Nashville.
No, I do. Moved there recently. The commute is expensive, but it's worth it. This was not suggested because it was on the list, so it was always going to be there. But heavily, we were pushed towards this by my brother's fiance. Shout out to Emmy. Is her name?
Shout out to Emmy, bro.
Who is Shania Twain mega fan, and also one of a Tay-Tay fan as well. Big on the Taylor Swift. So I mean, proof's in the pudding, right?
I would like to hit you with the bottom line.
What, we're going to open with the bottom line?
You always open with the bottom line?
What are we going to do after the bottom line?
All the stuff above the bottom line.
Okay. We're starting with the footnotes. All right.
Starting with the footnotes. Bottom line. Let's draw a line under it.
Okay. It's
Underline
done.
it.
That's the end of the episode.
No. I mean, draw a line under it to underline it, to draw attention to it.
Right. Okay.
There are more good songs on this album
Whoa.
than Taylor Swift's entire discography. And that's the bottom line.
That's a fucking hot take. That is searing. That is wowie.
Yeah. And also, you wouldn't have her without this. This is like better than her, I think.
You think, okay, interesting. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves in discussing the merits of the album before we've done everything else. What did you know about Shania Twain prior to this week?
Do you know she's actually came up on the podcast before, but she was...
There was a short-lived feature in which we were going to count down to when we covered Shania Twain.
What's that?
Yeah, it lasted 1 week.
I was just going to say, when we done the Lady Gaga episode, and we had that thing of Orville Peck covering Born This Way in a kind of slick country fashion.
Yes.
Orville Peck also collaborated with Shania Twain for a song called Legends Never Die.
Yes. Orville Peck, if you weren't around for the was it the Lady Gaga episode we discussed him in?
Born This Way.
Is a gay country musician.
Masked gay
The only
country
reason
musician.
I mention he's gay is because it is, country music is like traditionally conservative, and he is proudly out, and he wears a mask with tassels on it.
Well, it's hard to say if he's proudly out when he wears a mask the whole time.
Well, I suppose he's supposedly
Why are you making Zoidberg movement?
He dresses like Zoidberg. Wop, 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 wop. Is that the Zoidberg noise?
No, that's Homer.
No, but it was the same voice artist, isn't it? So
You think Zoidberg's voiced by Dan Castellaneta? You mad? That cunt rakes in $1 million a nap. I think it's a Billy West enterprise by Zoidberg.
okay, I don't know, or
Right.
care. So yeah, did you know? Had you listened to that Shania Twain Orville Peck song prior to this week?
Yeah, I was trying to get into Orville Peck during lockdown.
Yeah.
I'm getting into country recently. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that on the podcast, but I've been getting into country.
Have you watched the Ken Burns documentary about country music? I mean, as someone who's getting into country, I feel like that's something you should have done.
That's for beginners.
Come on, Ken Burns, the master, the documentary master.
See, if you're getting into the Civil War, you watch his Civil War documentary.
I've been
first.
getting into the Civil War recently. I started with Hamilton.
Same, actually. I listened to that recently too. Had I ever heard of Shania Twain before this week?
Yes.
I'm trying to think how that. Yeah, that was one of my big childhood memories is coming back from the time capsule in Coatbridge.
The Coatbridge time capsule.
Are you familiar with that?
See, the great contradiction with the Coatbridge time capsule is anything the Coatbridgians put in there is already 20 years out of date.
Well, it's not an actual time capsule. That's a very funny joke about social desperation. But,
yes.
do
Do you remember when they had the time capsule in the Blue Peter Garden that they'd buried in like 1980 or something?
what did they put in?
It's like stuff from the 1980s.
Game Boys.
It was 1980, so it was like comic books from the time and whatever. One of those cup holders with a string attached and a ball that you try and catch in. That's the sort of thing they used to play with, I'm sure. Yeah. Anyway,
a big stick and a round wheel with nothing in it.
Anyway, I'm pretty sure it was like the year 2000 Blue Peter special, and they dug up this box and they open it up and it's like the box was not secure, so it's all just fucking leaked and everything in it was ruined, and it was on live TV. Wonderful live television moment. Katie Hill going, "Oh my god, no!"
It's just full of maggots and that.
Yeah, I mean that's the 80s summed up. Anyway, sorry, you were on your way back from Coatbridge time capsule.
So you don't know what the time capsule is. The time capsule is a time travel themed leisure centre with a swimming pool, an ice rink, a soft play, and a fantastic food court.
So when you say it's time travel themed, in what way? How does that manifest?
So
There's
a woolly mammoth in the ice rink.
Right, well, this is what I was going to ask. Okay,
there's pterodactyls in the swimming pool.
Because there's dinosaurs.
The jacuzzi in the swimming pool, but you have to walk up a volcano and then sit in the top of a volcano.
So it sounds like a prehistoric themed rather than time travel themed. Is there other themes?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear them.
I think they've refurbed it since, but there was also a rocket that you could sit under and water would come out the bottom of the rocket and like steam would come out and stuff. It was sick.
Okay. So all right. So there's
also the very fact that the swimming pools there, they didn't have swimming pools in prehistoric times. So the fact that the pool was there,
you don't think people swam in the prehistoric times?
No, they swam.
You don't think little monkeys, little Japanese monkeys bathed?
There was onsens for sure. Don't get me wrong. Yes, there was an onsen. Yes, there was rock pools. Yes, there was the ocean, but they didn't have chlorinated pools.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So
sorry.
No, I just wanted to understand the thing. There's dinosaurs, and you had a sausage, bean, and cheese melt. Oh, well, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
They had dinosaurs and they had rocket ships, and then nothing in between. Did they have anything from like the medieval times, or
They could have. They had a Soul Edge arcade cabinet in the entrance, and that was kind of set in medieval times. A tale of history.
Right. Okay. Oh, well, that's good. Anyway, you were coming back from the time capsule.
Coming back from the time capsule, and I just remember having maybe I was coming back for karate at Tool Cross Leisure Centre. Either way, I was coming back from
karate.
Yeah, I did
karate.
I did karate. I was a white belt yellow tab. It's the lowest you can get without doing nothing. And I got the gi and everything.
Can you remember any of your moves?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not really good.
Wouldn't want to bump into him outside Coatbridge time capsule.
You wouldn't want to walk towards me on your knees. You're about to get dicked. So I was coming back for some kind of leisure centre or swimming pool, and I just remember my mum having on That Don't Impress Me Much, and just being like, wow, she is so unimpressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when that came out being like, not to be all bald man sings Rihanna about it, but being like...
Be a bald man sings Rihanna if you want. Gary's a patron. Make fun of Gary. Not make fun of him, just references to gear.
Well, no, there's a show where a man just like, slowly...
Are you slacking off Gary?
I'm not slacking off anything.
Cut this out.
I'm not cutting anything out, okay? I'm just saying that, there's a man who brings a show every year to the Edinburgh Festival where he just deconstructs lyrics of songs for comedic effect. That's all.
That's the hook.
Yeah.
There's more to the show than that.
Anyway, not to be all bald man sings around about it, but
Can't believe you're
in
outing yourself as a Sansom hater here. I think he's a nice guy.
he's a lovely guy.
Yeah.
Why
Why are you going after him?
I'm not going after him. I'm just saying
This is fucked up.
that not to be a bald man sings around about it, but that song I remember at the time going, he's a rocket scientist, and you're not impressed, but that's impressive.
I think that's kind of what she's going for. Like you could be that or that or that. I'm still not impressed.
Yeah, no, I understand.
You understand the conceit.
Yeah. But I do think being a rocket
I also think
scientist
it's funny
is impressive.
that this was produced by Mutt Lange, the Zambian-born British music producer who produced AC/DC and Def Leppard. But she was impressed by him.
Well, clearly.
So she's like, so you're a Zambian-born British music producer who produced Des Leppard and Des Leppard?
Des Leppard.
That's worse than what you said
What did I say?
in the intro.
Don't know what you're talking about.
So you're a Zambian-born British music producer
When he
who
was
produced
born-
Def Leppard and AC/DC. That do impress me much. So you will eventually cheat on me with someone and then I will marry.
You are jumping way ahead of
Okay,
things,
so
okay? As
spoiler
usual,
alert.
okay? Let's keep on track here. So I remember that coming out. I also was a Shania song that was a big part of my lockdown because Roscoe would perform a Shania song on his Twitch stream each night in which his face would come out of the sun and some clouds and he would sing,
So glad we made it. Look how far we've come, baby. It might be a long time.
did it be the da-da-da-da? You're the one I want to be there. Anyway, so that was a lot of fun. Also, I remember, and I actually had forgotten about this until I watched a documentary about Shania Twain on Netflix last night, which is not good. And
We talking about the Netflix documentary?
it's not. It's like it's one of those documentaries. It's a puff piece. You can tell it's been made by the record studio or her production company or whatever. There is not one negative even moment. Shania Twain is an angel, a perfect little baby angel, according to this. And sure, she's a nice person, I think. Okay, but there is so much that is not touched upon.
Did you find out about her upbringing?
Yes, which we'll get to in a moment. I'm still finishing my own personal Shania Twain history.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay,
So this documentary is your personal Shania Twain?
No, during-
you were reminded of something by the documentary?
that's right. Okay, stay focused. I remembered that when they played the footage of the music video, "I'm Gonna Get Ya," where she's on a motorbike.
Oh, yeah. It's so futuristic and cool.
I was like, it's almost like something you'd see at the Coke Bridge time capsule.
If you were in the certain area, the soft play had that quite futuristic. The tango slide is what it had.
And it was one of those moments where I was like, I have not heard or thought about this song for 20 years. But the second I saw it, I was like, oh my God. And it all came flooding back to me. And I remember being about 14 years old. Music Channel days, you know what I mean? And that would be one of the songs that I wouldn't have admitted to the boys that I liked.
Sure.
But it'd come on and be like, this song absolutely slaps. I'm gonna get you just a matter of time. And also, I think probably was a little bit attracted to Shania Twain at the time
Skin
as well.
tight, cyberpunk. Fuck, man.
Not to be main, but jeez-o whiz-o.
I prepared myself to not be horny this week.
Well, I haven't, okay?
All right,
So,
shit.
Lord above, that early Shania, and I don't think it's creepy because she was... This is why it's not creepy, everybody, just to be clear, okay?
You should never have to say that, though. Here's why it's not creepy that I'm doing this.
Well, because she was not a young star. Do you know what I mean? She was already sort of mid-20s when she found fame.
You giving yourself feminist points for being attractive to a 30-year-old woman?
Yes,
As if you're
please.
some kind of god.
When I was 14, yeah, okay. Hey, it's not. It wasn't. It was more about the music for me. Actually, that's what turned
It
me
was
on.
about the video.
Yes, it was.
It's very similar to Tron, that video.
Well, I guess it was the most expensive music video of all time at the point.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, for when you look at it and you go, but it's just CGI. Like everything's just CGI. Like
we didn't have this album in the car when we were. It was just the single of Let's Go Girls. I can't remember if it was Let's Go Girls, Going Out Tonight, Having Such a Fright or whatever, or if it was the other one I was talking about.
You know what? We're going to come to this later as well because I've made some interesting notes about that.
Okay.
So Shania Twain's background. Pray silence, please, for Secret Posho.
Secret Posho, Secret Posho. You do it fast and it feels like I sure got no money. You got that bro, Secret Posho.
Delighted to see the return of the OG Secret Posho jingle after the hatred you've received for it on Patreon. Much deserved hatred, I believe.
On Patreon, you can get in touch with us. You can also get in touch on Twitter, but would more likely respond on Patreon. I respond to everything. But
we'll take you more seriously.
Yeah.
If you
have a financial stake in the company.
Yes, please.
We're going to jump on the stock market as soon as we can. We're a publicly traded podcast. But yeah, who was that who said that? And they said, just spent a $5 to let you know that the new Secret Posho theme is shit and bad.
Agreed.
Oh, that's cool.
Worth every penny. Well, you've returned to the OG one, and I know why. It was
when Crystal said, "Oh, it's more like the Beastie Boys," and I was like, "Yeah, white people.
Yeah,
that's fine.
White people.
I'm not putting a voice on."
Shania Twain was born in Ontario, but raised in Timmins. I met someone from Timmins.
Timmins is in Ontario, isn't it?
Yeah. But I remember I actually have a clip of me doing stand-up where I'm doing some crowd work and I meet someone from Timmins and
what
they tell me that.
What did they say to you?
Well, I said, where are you from? And they said Timmins, and their friend was from somewhere near. And I made some joke about how it sounded like some sort of detective show. It did. It was very funny. And then I was chatting with them and they said, "Oh, Shania Twain's from there." And then we moved on to something else. And then I wrapped up by saying, "That don't impress me much." And it was pretty good stuff.
I love crowd work. I think it's so good.
That seems insincere.
See, when I go to a comedy show, I don't want to hear the guy's opinion. I want to know, what do the other people in this room do for a living?
Wow.
That's the art that I enjoy.
Wow. Okay. What a way to shoot fire at your co-host. Well known.
Oh, you've got some material as well.
Celebrated for his crowd work. And
great. I love crowd. I think crowd work's great. It's definitely something I want to see when I'm paying money for art.
Yeah. No, I understand.
How long have the other people in this room been going out? I need to know.
Yeah. It can be frustrating to see people do things that you can't do yourself. I haven't really seen much evidence of that. No.
I'd rather tell you what it's like to be alive through the prism of my experience.
Yeah. With material about cereal. So anyway, you started it.
No, I didn't start anything.
You absolutely did. Just because you've only had a sausage, bean and cheese melt for breakfast.
Moody. I'm just saying I love crowd work. I think it's great and I love hearing about it and I love Shania Twain, so let's talk about it.
Wow. You've got your grumpy pants on.
I don't have my grumpy pants on.
Absolutely do. Being such a rudo.
Grumpy pants wise.
Wow.
Actual pants wise, I'm wearing pants.
Shots fired. Okay.
I just think crowd work sucks, but go ahead. That's great. It's good stuff. How long have the front row been going out? That's what I'm here for.
All right. Well, let's. Next time I introduce you, I won't do any of that. Instead, I'll just stand in silence, and you can go on and you can do what you want instead, since you see no value in.
How shit is the place that guy's from? I need to know.
Wowie. This hurts to do this so publicly as well.
No, not public. This is
no, it isn't.
Oh shit.
Yeah, this is for realsies. And genuinely have hurt my feelings.
Oh, did you invent crowd work?
Well, what a ridiculous...
You didn't invent it.
Oh, okay.
You didn't invent it. Yeah, so I'm not slagging you. I'm slagging your genre.
Yeah. So I shouldn't be offended.
Great French
by
shows.
that.
This guy, really good French shows. No crowd work.
Yeah.
What are you saying? Timmins?
Don't know if I really want to do the podcast with you anymore after that outburst, after that completely unnecessary, cruel, mean bit of bullying, public bullying from you out of nowhere. Just trying to do a fun podcast with my friend.
Why not?
a podcast based on improvisation, by the way,
Yeah.
which is something else that is involved in that crowd work you hate so much. But no, it doesn't matter. You're not allowed to not have a proper breakfast before the podcast because you come in so mean. Every time we have an argument, it's because you haven't eaten.
Just do your shit, man. Read the iPad. Come on.
Oh my God! Don't touch me! Don't tap me! This is gonna affect the rest of the episode now. I hope you know that.
We're doing 2 episodes well today. So
Yeah. So the next 2 are gonna be absolutely.
I'll be nice.
What a dickhead. Shania Twain was raised in Timmins. She comes from a poor background.
No Posho.
Her parents split up when she was very young. Her dad left when she was 2 years old. Her mum remarried an indigenous man.
First Nations, man.
Forgive me if I mispronounce this. The Ojibwa is the name of the people. The Ojibwa.
Here's something I found out that kind of put me off Shania a wee bit.
Okay.
She is listed as one of the biggest Ojibwa people there is. Like she's on the board of directors or whatever. And because she's 50% Ojibwa.
Yep.
But it's her stepdad. And she doesn't call her stepdad because he was such a good dad. He's such a good guy. But she considers herself 50% indigenous. What do you think about that?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because she, I think she considers Jerry Twain to be her father, regardless of whether or not a biological father. And I don't think it's a bad thing for her to use her fame, money, profile to help the Indigenous people of Canada. She's not necessarily claiming to be a person of colour. So I think it's probably okay. What's your hot take on it then?
No, I'm behind her 100%.
No, it doesn't sound like you are.
No, I think
it sounds like you changed your mind based on what I've said.
No, I don't change my mind.
You started by saying, here's one of the problems I have with Shania Twain.
Yeah, my problem is with how much I love her.
Wow.
I love her too much. And I respect her racial background.
Yeah, okay. Do you need to go have a cigarette or something? You seem on edge.
I just had the Greg's.
There was so her mother noticed that she was a good singer and began to take her to bars late at night to perform after hours. Essentially, that was the sort of the spot she would get was midnight. The drinks orders, like the bar is closed, but everyone has basically gone just for last orders and bought 4 bottles of beer. So legally, it's closed. And then she would perform for $20 and sing country songs. And
see when it's closing time at the bar.
Closing time.
I'm always like, where's the 14-year-old girl singing, man? No, wait, I'm not, because I'm not fucking
weird. That's so weird, isn't it?
Imagine you're in Nice and Sleazy's. 10 to 3. Everybody's steaming.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for my 14-year-old girl.
You'd be like, what?
Jolene. What the fuck is
well,
this?
you know, in a pub, it's kind of a public house. And it's kind of like, okay, kids are here sometimes, you know.
But singing
at
midnight?
At midnight.
She's got school in the morning. You're repeating everything I say.
Yeah, I'm not into it.
Yeah, no, that's a bit weird, isn't it? But that is where she learnt to perform, I guess, on the stage from a very young age. Mary Bailey.
She's in A Wonderful Life. Mary, I want to grab a moon and lasso the moon and pull you down to the earth.
Is that her?
Yeah, Mary Bailey.
The Mary Bailey from this?
I think so.
Is that?
No, it's a character. So that would be a fictional person.
Right, okay.
I'm just saying the same name.
Are you okay? What is going on?
I'm talking about That's a Wonderful Life. I'm tired. I forgot. I did my notes on the train and I forgot my pen. So I could do my notes. I'm just...
You don't have any notes?
Look, I've got notes.
Well, Jesus Christ.
I'm just doing your notes.
What do you mean you're doing my notes?
Shania Twain.
God almighty. Do you know why? You know, it'd be good if you could improvise a bit more, then you wouldn't need notes. But apparently
I'm very playful.
That's a shameful thing to be good at, is to go off cues and prompts and make magic happen. It's magic what I do. It's actual magic. Some people think, whereas you prefer.
Who's ever said
you
that?
Prefer
Who's ever
script.
said that is actual
You prefer
magic?
living in a cage with your script That's fine. Well, I think that has value. Do you know what I mean? Whereas you can't see outside of your lane. That's a shame. Anyway, after graduating, Mary Bailey saw her singing one of your favourite songs, I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry.
Hank Williams Sr.'s So Lonesome I Could Cry.
And Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain by Willie Nelson, which I listened to earlier and is also a beautiful song.
Classic country hits.
Mary Bailey were going to manage Shania Twain's first few albums, and then it gets sad, okay? It's going to get... Yeah, it's going to get sad now. Shania Twain's parents died in a car crash when she was like 22.
It's like James and the Giant Peach.
It's... yeah, I guess it is.
I think they were killed by a rhino, escaped through the zoo.
I don't think the cause of death is the similarity there, though. But yeah, so her parents died. This is before she'd released any music. You know, she was working in a few bands, getting a few odd jobs here and there. She had been on TV, young, singing country music. So she was, you know, going places. And many people remarked how, you know, incredible a singer she was for her age already. But she would by no means made it. In fact, after her parents died, so that she could support her siblings, she went and worked in like a holiday camp, equivalent to a Butlins. Did you go to any Butlins or anything like that when you were a wee guy?
We took caravan park once, but my family doesn't really like fun. So the idea of going to like a fun family place is just, Jesus, no thanks.
Yeah, we used to go to Haven Holiday Camp. What's the song? Haven Holidays, Haven Holidays, we're on our way, running through the jungle, climbing up a tree, see a big orangutan staring down at me.
That's false advertising, surely. There's no orangutans in Haven Holiday Park.
Well, that's what you think. You don't know.
Did you see one?
Yeah.
Where?
Haven Holiday Camp.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Where was that? In Dagenham?
There's not a Haven in Dagenham. Are you mad? What kind of holiday would that be? All right, kids, going on holiday. It's 2 minutes down the road.
He was the guy on crack.
Haven actually have a number of parks, and we went to many of them.
Oh, really?
That was our yearly holiday.
Rank them.
Lima Bay, number
Lime
one.
Bay?
Yes. Porthmadog.
No.
You're laughing at that. It's a Welsh village, so that's actually disrespectful. And others.
Kimru.
Sure.
That's where Wales is.
Yes. Anyway, she then got together her first album. It was a flop. First album, she said she had no creative control over it and didn't really feel like she was doing what she wanted to do. It's a country record, sure, but she was in the studio and she didn't enjoy it. And I think that bled into the album. And then the album, I think it did well in Europe. It won some like Best Country Music Award in like, you know, somewhere in Europe, but it didn't do well. It wasn't
Cologne, the famous French city.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it did lead to her long-term collaborator discovering her, Mutt Lange, who you mentioned already.
Lange. I called him Mutt Lange. Is that wrong?
Well, I don't know. Mutt Lange, as you say, produced Def Leppard, Back in Black.
Sally.
I did some Googling. Found some other songs he produced. He produced a song for Ipswich Football Club.
Is that a good team?
Not really.
First league, first division?
I think they're in the Championship at the moment, but they've sort of yo-yoed from the...
It's like Premier League, Championship.
League One, League Two.
So League One and League Two are the third and fourth?
Yeah. You know what? I agree that is stupid.
Yeah.
I think he's an Ipswich fan, and so there was a thing where football clubs used to, if they got into like a FA Cup final, sometimes they would release a song and it's all the players singing. Very funny. And so his song, so not only did he produce Back in Black, but he's also produced this fucking ridiculous FA Cup song for the Ipswich football team that you can see on YouTube, and they go on and get that goal for Ipswich. Very funny.
Is the guitar good?
No, it's more, you know what it actually sounds like? This could sound ridiculous, but it is reminded me of remember we did the Indestructible Beat of Soweto?
The Ipswich song reminded you of the Indestructible Beat of Soweto?
The production of it and some of the noises, because it's not like a guitar that they use. It's like, I don't know what the instrument is, but there's definite, because he's from South Africa, right?
She's from Zambia.
He actually, I think, was when he was born, it was Rhodesia where he was born, named after Cecil Rhodes, I think. And then changed because that is imperialist and bad.
To call it Rhodesia? Because they're saying it's Greek or something.
What?
Rhodes is Greek, isn't it? Rhodes.
Well, yeah, I think it's a different thing.
Right.
Like Cecil Rhodes was like a British explorer
Oh,
and
he
politician.
called it named after himself?
Yeah. So it was called
Dirty
Rhodesia, and then that was changed.
Did you find out? And I wanted to do a Secret Posho on Mutt Lange and find out if he's like an Elon Musk type style guy. Is his mum and dad like an emerald mine now?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
Well, he's white, isn't he?
Yeah.
Let's just say that he's Zambian and he's a white man who made it in the record industry.
But I mean, has had incredible
Secret
success.
Posho.
So he phoned up Shania to be like, "Hey, love your flop album, really good. Let's have a chat about stuff." Within 6 months, working together, producing an album together, and married.
Yeah.
So he was 45 at
That's
the time.
what You're the One's about. Looks like we made it. Look how far we've come, my baby. Might took a long time. And people, so like, oh, this will flame out and stuff. But she was like, we're going to be together forever.
Yes.
And then they very much were not.
Yeah. So what do you think of the age difference? He was 45, she was 28.
So I'm 29. If I had an exact twin
Yep.
and she was going out with a 45-year-old white Zambian,
Yep.
I'd be fine with it.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, people sort of talk about the age difference, but I think by the time you're 28, it's like, whatever, right?
No.
28 and 45 is not that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not whatever. Sure.
You're wasting your good fanny years on some seriously subpar schlong.
Wow. Wowie. Okay.
What?
Okay. Cool. I think. Wait, by the time you might be. If
How old are you?
I'm 33.
So plus 4.
So
So if you were going out with a 50-year-old woman,
yeah,
you don't think your friends would be like,
I think
what's happening?
they might be like, well, that's interesting. Okay. That's a bit, and they probably would say that's a little bit unusual. Sure. I don't think it's problematic.
No, it's not problematic, but
Do you know what
there's other things to
It's
talk about
noteworthy.
rather than if someone's, abusing their power. Shania's not abusing her power. Mutt's not. Well, Mutt might be abusing his power, actually. I think when your one thing in your life is that your mum and dad are dead and your career's the only thing you've got and your record producer fucking sucks, and then this other, admittedly, very good record producer comes along and he's like, hey, I'm old as fuck and I'm from Zambia. Do I fuck?
Yep.
That's fucked up. And then he fucking cheats on her when she's the biggest pop star in the world. And then she gets together with his ex-partner.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy,
you're just
isn't
like,
it?
Shania.
What's going on there? That's after. So they released 3 albums as a partnership. All 3 albums go diamond.
Double diamond for this.
She's the only person to have 3 diamond albums in a row
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Like, I know Shania's big. She's well known. But I feel like she's not. That seems like bigger than I understand that she is, if that makes sense.
To me, she's the Billy Connolly of... Why are you laughing? To me, she's the Billy Connolly
Yeah.
of Canadian country music.
Right.
Because I don't know if you've seen my appearance on BBC Scotland's Ooh the Banter.
No, I don't watch it. Don't watch your stuff.
I get a bit of TV work sometimes.
Right, yeah.
And my dad was cutting my hair last night and he was like, a lot of the stuff you've been making is not that great, is it? But that was all right. I was like, thanks very much.
Wow. High praise.
Yeah. From my hairdresser, who is also my father.
Yep. Nepo baby.
Nipple baby for sure. And he was saying the Billy Connolly thing, and what I was saying about Billy Connolly on Hogmanay TV smash hit Ooh the Banter was he was for everybody.
Right.
Shania's for everybody because she's got the big dirty guitar licks for the boys, and she's got the you go girl mentality for the hen night ladies.
Right.
She's regretfully winsome and lonesome on looks like we made it. Like she's something for everybody. Nobody, even if you're a feminist, and she says she's not a feminist, but there is some of that shit there as well. This is for everybody.
I'm not sure it's for everybody because it's still quite pop. It's still like mainstream pop, isn't it?
Who's it not for?
Well, anyone who doesn't like mainstream pop, which is a lot of people.
Losers.
Sure.
Not interested.
Yeah, so it's not for
Diamond.
everybody though, is it?
when it's for everybody, it's not going to be for some
the thing
people.
is about anyone with a country background and going into pop is that is via Shania, a well-proven good
Shania?
via Shania Twain, is a well-proven good like commercial route to success, isn't it? Because the country music people are reliable consumers, aren't they? And when they like someone, they're going to buy their shit. You know what I mean? And then you go over to the pop world, you've still got the country world backing you up, and then you've got the new pop world. So that's how you go double diamond.
You get on Pop World, Simon Amstell and Salt Shoe.
You go to Pop World nightclub in Newcastle, and Shania's there with Simon Amstell, singing sad songs. It's cool.
Spitting on Preston's head as he lies in the gutter.
So yeah, so the first Mutt Lange Shania Twain was another country record, and then they went. You know, this is what I find interesting about Shania, is that the way she spoke in that documentary was that first country album they did, Mutt and Shania, went diamond, right? It was huge, but she was like, it's only huge in country, you know? It's not big pops. I want to be a big pop star.
Yeah.
So I realised that if I wanted to be more successful than having a diamond album, I'm going to have to cross over into pop. And it reminded me of that Lady Gaga thing of the inspiration being success rather than the art itself. Oh, I'm going to have to change to be a global megastar, which is what I want to be, you know?
Yeah.
Which is it's cynical.
It's cynical, but it's, if you want to be, nobody's famous who doesn't want to be famous. That's not true.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with that at all.
But to be that big, you need to decide, I'm going to be for everybody.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting that it wasn't like, oh, I love this type of music. It was, oh, I'm going to pivot to this so that I become more famous.
I think Mutt probably made the same thing because, like, you listen to his AC/DC stuff, like, For Those About to Rock, We Salute You, and all that type of stuff, and it's, like, really nicely produced, heavy guitar music. Fucking Back in Black's one of the biggest selling albums of all time as well.
Yeah, this guy, I mean, he has, like, 2 or 3 albums in the best-selling albums of all time.
And Hysteria by Def Leppard was one of the biggest selling albums of the 80s. And I never listened to it before. I listened to it on the way here. And big drums. Very poppy. But then the guitars are nice as well. And you can tell that he was like, you know what? I liked being the producer for AC/DC, but I want to be in an even bigger rock band. So he has the tool set to make you huge.
Especially if he fancies you. There was a lot of sexist discussion about how much of the success was down to Mutt and how much was it down to Shania. And I think Shania sort of fairly says, if it was the other way around, people wouldn't really be asking that question. They just love to be like, oh, wow, you're doing well. It must be the man who wrote all the songs.
I feel like that is sexist.
Yeah.
And it's also true.
Do you think so?
Yeah. Because the guitars sound amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just...
I think it's fair to say that it is a collaboration more
it's
than...
huge. Oh, and she wrote loads of it and stuff, but the production matters.
Of course it matters.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't think you can say it's solely down to him.
The other way around. Imagine there was a 25-year-old Zambian British country singer
Yep.
who falls in love with a 50-year-old Canadian woman producer, Svengali. I don't think those people exist. That's the issue.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have worked if they did exist.
Okay.
Well, she's saying the other way around. I'm doing that. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
A 25-year-old
But use your imagination.
cowboy from Zambia.
Yeah.
White, as the snow is.
Sure.
And then, a 50-year-old Canadian country production.
I think what we're learning is that you shouldn't do this podcast without notes.
I don't need notes. What did you think of the...
What the fuck are you talking about?
What did you think of the Talking Heads in the documentary on Netflix?
Well, there were some that were cool. Orville Peck. With his Zoidberg mask.
The Rey Mysterio Zoidberg of the country world.
Cancelled musician Diplo.
MIA's former beau.
Yes. Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, Avril Lavigne was in it. Another Canadian.
The Avril Lavigne interviews were really weird. It was
She was like framed weird.
They'd caught her for like 10 minutes
Her
and
hair
went,
was too far forward off her head.
talk about Shania Twain. You know what? It was like instead of writing notes for the interview, you should listen to a Def Leppard album on the way and completely forgotten what it was like to talk about Shania Twain. That's what it was like.
I can talk about Shania Twain.
Using my... Well, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Avril Lavigne.
Oh, yeah.
Using my imagination to imagine how someone could sound that weird on camera. And it's weird. Like it feels like she's doing the interview at gunpoint.
Maybe she was.
Yeah, potentially.
Eve Barlow was in it. That was what put me off. Not put me off, threw me off.
Yeah.
And put me off.
I don't really know who she is, to be honest.
She is like an anti-Corbyn person.
Right.
From Glasgow.
Okay.
And she was one of the defendants in the Amber Heard trial.
Right. Okay.
Very strange person.
What a weird person to have in your Shania Twain documentary.
In 2022, yeah.
Yeah. Bizarre. It is a bit bizarre, the whole thing.
People call it Eve Fartlow.
Mm-hmm. Not saying that's good or bad.
Just saying it's out there.
Just putting it out there.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I like about this album is that before, I would say 90% of the songs, Shania starts by saying one little word or phrase to get the song going. Mm-hmm. So we know the famous one.
Let's go, girls.
Let's go, girls. Okay.
No, do it again. You seen that Lemmy sketch?
Yes.
Yeah. No, you didn't you missed it. And then he flies through the air and his cock comes out. And
yeah.
And he lands in a building or something.
And I'm holding on to love. The music starts and then she goes, kick it. In Love Gets Me Every Time, she goes, And then the music starts.
I could tell she was running out of ideas.
My favourite one is on Don't Be Stupid. You know I love you. When it starts in down, she goes, cool. Cool. What a cool thing to say.
Yeah.
She says in one. I'll just read out the rest of the list. She says, I do swear. Ooh. She says, 1, 2, now. You think it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, but she mixes it up.
The real threes?
On what you do don't, she says, here we go. And you're still the one. It's when I first saw you. And Honey, I'm Home, she goes, fellas.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to start your song with a word.
It's very important in wrestling to start your entrance theme with a kind of distinguishable sound. Mm-hmm. So I know what she's going for. You need to hear that let's go girl and then you just know exactly what's coming.
Let's go girls.
If you want to cut through the pop radio.
The album was just absolutely insanely successful. Double diamond.
So many hits.
There are 12 singles released from the album of 14 songs. They just kept on releasing singles. It's absolutely crazy.
So what was it like? One of the big ones, like either the first track or the Let's Go Girls one.
There's Man, I Feel Like a Woman.
Mm-hmm. That was like the 8th single or something.
Crazy.
And you're like, how did you get through 7 before that?
I feel like a woman. Famous video parodying your
hey, you better fix it, you're addicted to love. Robert Palmer?
Yeah. But they've gender swapped it. So he's a guy with sexy ladies playing guitars and she's a girl with sexy men playing guitars. Pretty cool.
She has a lot of clothes on at the start of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's got a corset and thigh highs by the end of it. And that's all I'm going to say.
That's all we're going to say about that.
I like the video for that don't impress me much, where she's in the desert with the leopard print.
She loves getting her tummy out.
This has been a big source of contention with the socially conservative country music community. They were saying, hey, listen, we love you. Get that belly hid.
Put your midriff away.
What's your feeling on midriffs?
Steve Earle called her the country music's highest paid lap dancer.
Steve.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Isn't it just? Fuck you, Steve Earle. That's what I say.
If you're out there, don't watch this.
Yeah, the country music shunned her.
Turn it off now.
Yes, please.
It's on YouTube or Patreon. Steve.
Country music shunned her for being for too feminine and too, sexual. Mm-hmm. Lots of the conservative country people were like.
It's very funny as socially conservative country people because they're like, listen, men should be traditionally men and women should be traditionally women, unless you're wearing a pink jewel encrusted suit with like hash leaves on it.
Yes, but you're a man, so that's
It's
okay.
okay.
That's cool.
You want to get your little belly button out? Proof that you're not a clone. Proof that you weren't born in a test tube. God, it makes me sick.
Should we do some tattoos?
Would you like to... Well, here's the issue. I'll get into this issue. With two guys reviewing tattoos. We're gonna Google image searching and we'll choose if it's tattoo woohoo or tattoo boohoo. We're judging the ink, yeah, that's what we do. Full sleeve or face tats, big skull or wing bat. You pick the design, is it bad or just fine? A dragon or a skull, pretentious or dull. You cannot hide, and we will decide if it's tattoo woohoo or tattoo boohoo, yeah. So here's the issue. She doesn't have any tattoos.
Okay.
That I know of.
Right.
She went on Jay Leno once.
Okay.
In the 1990s.
Right.
And she showed off her tattoo. It was a heart with a knife through it. But then I've seen pictures of her since then. She doesn't have it, which makes me think it was fictional.
Right.
You know,
she faked having a tattoo.
And there's another photo shoot where she has a tattoo, a tiger drawn on her chest.
Right.
It's not real.
Okay.
But then I decided I'm not going to let this week go without a little bit of tattoo woohoo. So I found some Shania Twain fan tattoos.
Okay, good.
One in particular.
Yeah, I'm into this.
Google image search. What's happened to that, by the way? I had to go on Yahoo image search to get any
What
good
the
stuff.
fuck, man?
Yeah. I didn't even know that
Yahoo?
exists. I had to go on Yahoo. Google is in the
Ask
dirt.
Jeeves.
Cobsy. Let's see.
Google is in the dirt. You have to put the word Reddit after any search to find anything. What the fuck is this?
For the listener. How would you describe it?
Oh my god, it's someone's hand.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
a hand tattoo. What did you think it was?
I couldn't
Somebody
tell.
who'd been in an accident?
It took me a
Full
while to
body?
figure it out from this point. Anyway, so what we have here is someone's hand tattooed with an image of Shania Twain and a horse's head, a la The Godfather, resting gently on her shoulder.
Covers the whole hand from wrist till knuckles.
From wrist to knuckles, yeah. It's
And, her eyes are nice, isn't it? Nice eyes, and the white will fade over time. But as looks pretty raw, looks pretty fresh, and it says Shania at the top of it, just in case you didn't understand who the horse hugger was.
it's pretty terrible. I mean, the thing is that the actual drawing of it is not that bad.
Okay, I'm going to give you a scenario.
Right.
You are at a job interview.
Okay.
You are a
Manager of the time capsule.
You're manager of the time capsule.
What, I'm going for the job of?
No, you are.
I am the manager.
An applicant comes in.
Okay.
They're perfect.
Hello.
They know how to repair
The
soul
Shania
edge
Twain.
machines.
Yep.
They're used to fishing burgers out the pool because people in the food court keep throwing burgers in the pool.
Yep. They can deal appropriately with the future shock people have to deal with when they go between different realms of time in a moment's notice.
They're used to stopping young bespectacled boys crying when they get beat up in the soft play.
Yep.
All right.
Jerking off in the ball pool.
No one's checking off. But if they are, this guy can deal with them. You're like,
Yeah.
this guy's perfect. His CV, he's worked at other time travel themed leisure centres before.
Right. Okay.
No one's more. No one's more ready
Yeah.
for the role.
Yeah. The Clackmannanshire TARDIS.
He reaches out to shake your hand,
Okay.
and you see this
Right.
on the guy's hand.
Yeah.
Are you hiring him, or are you firing him?
I mean, you can't. If he's perfect for the role,
But he's got this on his hand.
I
He's
mean,
got a tattoo of Shania Twain.
it's not offensive.
Maybe being fucked by a horse.
What? Do
with
you think she's
Shania.
being
No,
fucked?
I don't think so, but it's not out of the realm of debate.
I think it is. I don't
Okay.
think he's. I don't think
Just
she's.
get the head over the shoulder. That's how some people do it.
Sure. Do you know what? Actually, you're right. I think she's being fucked doggy
No, I'm
style
not
by
saying
this
that
horse.
she has. That's you saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it could be.
Yeah. I'm gonna hire the guy. I'm gonna talk to him about his tattoo. I'm gonna say, can you wear gloves when dealing with the jerking off kid in the ball pool?
So that's a woohoo from you.
No. That's a different question. Now you can't get me on that. Okay.
Sounds like you're giving him a woohoo. If you're hiring him for the job and he's got this, You're woohooing the tattoo?
No, it's nothing to do with a tattoo. I'm good at actually compartmentalizing between people's tattoos and people's. I like to separate the art from the artist. Actually,
Do you think the guy done that himself?
who knows? Who knows?
Just on the other hand, like
What,
Shania.
well, yeah. What? So, what do you think? Woohoo or boohoo? For me, it's a boohoo.
I like a hand tattoo.
You are at it.
No, I'm not. I think it's really bold. I've never seen it like that.
You're going increasingly mad week on week. I think these double episodes are fucking you up. I think you've obviously stopped eating. You've come in determined to break up this relationship by having a go at my one skill.
I like it.
And then you're pretending to have opinions you don't have just to annoy me. What's going on? Have I upset you? Have I done something bad?
This is good. I'm gonna give it a hee hee.
Okay.
A woohoo hee hee.
Yeah, sure.
No, I'm giving it a woohoo. Thanks very much, Corbin. That was tattoo woohoo, tattoo boohoo. I'm giving it a woohoo. You gave it a woohoo as well because you would hire the guy.
Yeah.
Good. I got a little Unhinged YouTube comment of the week for the video for That Don't Impress Me Much. If you remember, it's the one where she's in the cheetah skin
Yes.
and she's in the desert. Okay, this is another one of my classic Unhinged back and forths.
Okay.
A nice debate. Green Queen 2 years ago said, this video is a metaphor. Her being... Can you stop gulping Coke while I'm reading YouTube?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. I've absolutely no time for you this week.
This video is a metaphor. Her being in the desert represents the dearth of good men out here. The fact that she rejects the ones she meets, even though she's in a dire situation, shows she is not desperate and won't settle for just anybody. She's gonna wait, no matter how long it takes and how long she has to be alone in this wilderness.
Can I just come in here? When that person says the dearth of men out here, are they writing it from the desert? Where I am,
just planet Earth.
there's no men out here in the desert where I am. Also, please send help.
Well, there was a response from Samson Delighted.
Right.
And he said 2 years ago also, or it shows that typical of a woman, she wants and expects her desires to be satisfied merely because she exists.
Whoa.
Richard agreed. 2 years ago he said, plenty of good men out there, but they're getting wise to certain kinds of women. So the good men take themselves out of reach of those women, and the women say, where are all the good men? They are there, ladies. It's called having standards. Women can't have those, just that some of your standards are impossible to attain. There is no knight in shining armor. You are not a goddess. We are all men and women, ordinary, normal human beings. When you realize that, you'll find your man. I wish you luck.
Wow. Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate there, coming straight from Romania.
Romanian prison cell. That's pretty good. Pretty good back and forth. I found a wonderful comment on the YouTube video for "I'm Gonna Get You Just a Matter of Time."
That's the one you had little boner to the future.
No, that's correct. The one that gave me a little pinger, aged 14. This is from Cruisin' Music.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I met at 18, married at 22, first baby at 25, still madly in love with each other at 72. Thanks very much. Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Very good. That's nice. Good for you, fella.
Yeah.
Right. Let's do a quick wrap up on this album. The thing about an album that has 12 singles on it is you have 12 pop songs, 12 radio friendly, accessible country pop anthems.
Yeah.
The themes throughout are love, relationships, female empowerment, but there's a delicate balance of, hey, I'm a female and I'm empowered, but I'm not, she even says in the documentary, I'm not one of those angry feminists, which is a little bit, that's internalized misogyny a bit, I think. But the album, by and large, it's fun to listen to. It's good, well produced, good hooks. It's pop. I don't think in 100 years' time you're going to be listening to this as anything that, if you were looking at the biggest selling things. I mean, what would it tell you about the world at the time? I guess it was the 90s, and there was a interest in female empowerment in music at the time, which I guess you could say societally is interesting, but I don't think it discusses that much in an interesting way. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, girls, isn't it great to be a girl? That's
so
cool.
I guess what you're trying to say is that don't impress me much.
Yeah. Wow, turns out that is a funny thing to say at the end of the conversation when you improvise it. Who'd have thought? Really funny. See, it's nice to improvise funny jokes, isn't it?
No, I do it all the time.
Do you?
In the right place.
Mm-hmm.
Podcasts.
Yes.
Not on stage.
Yeah, that's the wrong place to do jokes. Correct. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. So songs are like
Did you ever
the bigger hits, Man I Feel Like a Woman, you don't impress me much. You're Still the One, which is a great ballad to sing along to. The song with the other fella, the Disney duet, From This Moment On, it sounds Disney as fuck. Mm-hmm. That song to me is a bit too Disney, and I don't like. It's quite a popular song on the record, but that to me took me out of the record a bit too much.
You don't like Disney music?
Not in the middle of a empowering You Go Girls like country rock album.
Sure.
It sounded like something from Beauty and the Beast. Mm-hmm. Not interested. I like Don't Be Stupid. You know I love you.
What's that one? It's like
the sort of more country one. I think I'm not sure.
it's got a lot of fiddle on it.
Yeah.
I think it's Double Stupid actually, maybe.
Yeah.
And it sounds like fucking Riverdance, man. Sounds like Michael Flatley.
Yeah. There's some cool. Like there were some interesting ones with that celebrate country a bit more than others. Do you know what I mean? And in fact, something that she did with her next album is she released country version of it and a pop version of it.
Yeah, and an international version. This is the international cover that we got behind us.
Yeah,
there's actually a different run order for the international one and the American release as well.
Yep.
For this record, I listened to the American one, and then I looked at the special edition international one today, and I was like, "This is completely different, man." I hope Liam's listening to the same one, but we don't know. No, you got the one. I got the one with the really faded out white face.
Yeah, the album cover is it's a bit washed, isn't it?
Super washed. This is great.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned. You giving us a dream sleeves?
We don't have time to do the whole jingle, but I'm just saying I like it. It's just a good picture.
Yeah?
It's a good picture of the album.
Looks like an advert for shampoo.
Every week we add 2 songs from the album that we've covered to the Ever-Growing Enjoy an Album playlist, and a song each based on our conversation that we've had. What are you going to put on this week?
That don't impress me much.
Fair enough.
So you got a car. So you're Elvis. So you're Brad Pitt. So you're Mutt Lange. That dude impressed me much. So you're a masked country singer with a frill over your mouth and a cowboy hat, and you want to collaborate in a song called Legends Never Die. That dude impressed me much. It's just great.
Fair enough.
And the guitar's fucking ripping.
I'm going to put on Man I Feel Like a Woman then. Why not? Fun
song?
country rock hit. And actually, I'm going to go double Shania this week. I'm going to put on your I'm Gonna Get Ya, the song that gave me a boner when I was 14 years old. Here's my bonus track.
I'm going to stick on, I'm not sure if I've put this on before. Does this ring a bell? Candy by The Men?
I don't think so.
No. It's a kind of, listen to this, there's a bit of kind of country bass line. Mm-hmm. And the first Men record was this kind of abrasive New York noise album. And the second one, it was still a wee bit noisy, but they went in a kind of heartland direction. It's like, I just quit my job now, I can stay out all night long. And where I am tomorrow, it don't matter till the dawn. I can go to a million places, I could sing 1,000
So what's the
songs.
connection?
Just the bass line reminded me of it, kind of because
Right,
you just don't expect this.
Tenuous.
Oh, it's super tenuous, yeah.
Tenuous. One of the worst ones for a while.
It's a country song.
It had a bass guitar.
Wow.
Did you enjoy an album?
Do you know something? This do impress me much.
Okay.
I didn't listen to any music that I hadn't already heard that I thought this rips.
Yep.
what are you really? This is something I've realised is when we started this podcast, it was enjoying an album. Should this be on the list?
Yep.
Now we're not even doing the list, and we also got rid of that. Now we're saying, did you enjoy this? So we're not even really talking about the music. We're just talking about the concept of enjoying stuff.
Well, sure, but it's just, I mean, that's just in the way, it's just a way of saying, do you think this is good and worth listening to? No, isn't it?
Don't know.
Oh, no, yeah, it is. That's
Okay. Is this good and worth listening to? Can 12 million Shania heads be wrong? No. No, they can't. Yes. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think it's a fun album. You know, it's like, sure. It's, you know, it's good pop bits. I do think it sounds a little bit dated, some of it now.
Disagree.
Sounds a little, you don't think it sounds
I think
dated?
it sounds very modern and very cool.
You think it sounds
The
modern?
guitar rips.
Does it
thick.
sound modern? It doesn't sound like a mid-90s production.
You look at the way people dress in these days.
Right.
How many bare bellies you see out there? Many.
Yeah,
Baggy
yeah.
jeans, man.
But that's like a retro thing, isn't
It's
it?
a retro thing. It's back in fashion, man.
Right, but that, so it's still of its time then, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's good. Love it. I think Canada's a great country.
Oh my
I think this record's great. Big hits.
I'm going to go get you another something to eat before the
fine,
next
I don't need
episode
to eat.
because
My
I can't
belly's
handle this
digested.
level of argumentative for no reason.
Argumentative. I'm having a good time.
Jesus.
I thought it was a great record.
I enjoyed it. If you like country pop music, you'll love it. If you like more alternative stuff, you probably won't like it, you know.
That's wild to say that.
What do you mean? That's such a basic thing
the
to say.
guitars on this record. The guy's called Rusko.
Mm-hmm.
Great guitar work.
Sure.
Rusko McClelland.
Yeah. Listen, enjoy your week. Make sure when you go to work, you've eaten breakfast and that you have brought the notes for your work with you. Otherwise, you may be all over the place.
Not anywhere. I'm fine.
I'm talking to the listener, not you. Not everything's about you. We'll catch you next week for more album enjoyment. Have a great week.